Rahim, yes, absolutely. I agree with you. When people do not or do not face the things that centralized models do, they wouldn't really lean on decentralization. There are so many aspects where the banks give loans to many companies, and the companies go bust, and then your hard-earned money that's there in the bank, you'll be like, you know what, we can't give you the entire amount. We can just limit it to so and so. So that definitely I wouldn't accept. Uh, the concept is amazing. I really like the way you explained it. Gives me more perspective on various things. And like you said, I don't believe that no, YouTube will not go bust. Anything can happen because you don't know how the workings are behind the scene. With that being said, I also wanted to bring out there are countries that are very open to accepting cryptocurrency. One of the schools in UAE, the gentleman who I think your podcast interviewed, his school accepts cryptocurrency, which is a good thing. But then there are also sides where I hear when a country says, no, you know what, we're gonna accept this one as a legal tender, and the value of cryptocurrency just tanked. That is a massive impact on the country as well. You have been very transparent. You've been telling that, you know, everything needs work. It needs more time. But then how would cryptocurrency and blockchain technology get the kind of support if they face such kind of negative impact?
No, that's a great question. Again, this kind of goes back to this idea that we are still kind of in a very early phase of this whole ecosystem we are building. Even in stock markets, even with why do stock markets like suddenly like tank? Like, let's say like a news comes out, okay, a positive or negative and stuff. What really makes the stock market go up and down is, again, there would be either big people with big pockets. They either end up selling a lot or they end up buying a lot and stuff. Those are the people who end up. So there's a centralized manner to it and stuff, right? Cryptocurrency as a concept is for decentralization. The fact that there are still so less people around the world who are in it, that still kind of makes it centralized.
And not necessarily buy and sell the stock, but also just move a couple of bottles away from the media. So yeah,
exactly.
Celebrities. So
Yeah. So even exactly, and it's even with crypto right now, when like suddenly, for example, recently we had like a big crash because of a centralized exchange called FTX, where there was a big scandal around it, where the founder kind of mismanaged billions and billions of dollars. That was because the management of money still runs in a centralized way. Even with a lot of crypto, we still have these issues. And because we are in its infancy, if there are 100 people who are controlling 30% of the supply, that's an issue, right? That's why they have the power to dump or pump that particular coin and stuff. That's because, again, we are still in a very early phase of this whole crypto, blockchain, Web3, NFTs. And as years go by, like, you know, like the more it is spread, the more people around the world that will own it, the less volatile it will become.
So how do we solve the problem? Because the very few people know about what crypto and blockchain technology and Web3 is. I'm just coming to know about it right now, thanks to you. How do we work towards a solution? Is it awareness or is it just buying the crypto?
Here's how I tell people how they should get. I think one of the easiest way to get educated, and this just like, I'm like, this is obviously not financial advice. I'm not asking for people to go ahead and like buy crypto or things like that.
It's your opinion.
Yeah, it's my personal opinion that I feel like a lot of times you are more invested in an idea or technology or whatever once you kind of own a part of it, right? What I tell people is one of the easiest way to kind of like really get into this is buy, let's say, 100 dirhams worth of crypto. A very small amount. It could be less than that as well. The great thing about crypto is you can buy it for even like $10 or 10 dirhams or whatever. The reason I say that is I think people get very incentivized to study and educate themselves when they have a vested interest in it. So let's say if I buy something for 10 dirhams and suddenly I see it'll go up in 15 dirhams, or suddenly it goes down to 8 dirhams and stuff. Suddenly I'm like, okay, I need to see, like, this is awesome. Something went from 10 to, like, let's say 12 dirhams. Let me educate myself about this. The reason I say people should start with a small amount, even if you have a bigger capital to deploy, is so that your focus are not the numbers. Because if you put a lot more money, you will always be worried about, like, oh my God, I'm losing money or I'm gaining money. So this is how I say that the general public should get educated. However, this is still like a very privileged way of kind of looking at it and stuff, because there are different folds to all of this, right? Like, there are still people in the world who don't use the digital world at all. Like, like, we are still not paperless in the entire world, right? So this, obviously, I'm talking on a very small privileged scales that I at least tell people personally. In a more broader sense, I think we need more and more education on this. There are blockchain institutions, even schools that are opening up around the world. I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he's also building one in Dubai. And I think that's kind of, it's almost like, like what we are talking about is, imagine like learning coding, like, like your casual programming and stuff that build all of these apps that we use today. Imagine talking about that like 10, 15 years ago, right? That's essentially where we are. I think this is why I think the way I like to talk about blockchain or crypto or whatever, or this entire new world, is I kind of talk about it from why this is important rather than the definition. And I'm hoping that serves as a better educational tool for people to get interested in learning it. I think we're going to have a lot of pushback from institutions, from organizations, because again, like how centralized models are how the rich get richer. That's how it is. This is why like a middle person makes a lot of money. So we are going to have a lot of pushback. But I'm hoping as time goes by, there are countries and cities and private institutions or government institutions start seeing the value in it. And Dubai is a very good example of it. Dubai is very pro Web3. It's very like, like our own city has a council that kind of like, our government has a council that's working on this whole ecosystem. And they're kind of working at it from a very user and builder point of view, rather than just coming up with a set of regulation and rules that kind of only benefits them and the country and the economy. They're not going about that. Dubai has always been a city about innovation and technology, and that's why they're kind of very open to it. And I'm hoping, in fact, Dubai is, I would say, one of the leading cities in the world in Web3. There are so many people I personally know who kind of move from around the world to Web3, from in Web3 to Dubai, knowing how well established the city is moving in that direction. So I think it's a very steep curve. It's going to take a lot of time, but I'm hoping as when bigger companies get involved in it. So Meta, Facebook, is putting billions and billions of dollars into metaverse, into Web3. On Instagram right now, I don't believe everyone has the option yet, but you can upload NFTs on the blockchain. That kind of shows that this is minted on the blockchain is essentially putting something on the blockchain. You know how we mint money? The printing of money is called minting. So we say minting on the blockchain, but you can actually already have artworks that you can put on Instagram that are actually minted on the blockchain, and shows you a small symbol that says that, oh, this is minted on the blockchain. And I think because Facebook has like so many users, I think that's going to be one of the leading companies that brings people's eyes to decentralization or crypto or Web3. And I feel like just how the culture of the world works, even throughout history with like innovation of technology, it's all about, in fact, I would say in a scalable manner, even before education, the one catalyst that would be the best is a lot of these bigger institutions and companies getting into it, and that will kind of have like a spiraling effect on the masses.